I want to tell you two stories of events that I recently witnessed that really illustrate how people are going to just bonkers lengths to do what they think is avoiding contracting coronavirus in situations where, well, I don't know if it really makes sense. You be the judge. I'll tell you these stories. The first one, you may have seen something similar to this. So I was walking down the sidewalk on a fairly busy street in Toronto. It was two lanes on both sides of the road, and traffic, the speed limit I think is 40, but people regularly go like 60. They treat it like a thoroughfare. And there was an older lady walking in the street, and she was coming up abreast of a younger person in their 30s or what have you. I was a bit further behind. And as they got near each other, this older person began to panic, I guess at the prospect that they were going to be within, I don't know, 3 feet of another human being. And this lady darted out into the road, pretty much into oncoming traffic. I think she kind of glanced to make sure she wasn't going to, jump into a Mack truck immediately, but it was not a safe thing that she did at all. I mean, I think she could have been hit by a car. Not a good thing to do. I've seen similar things like that before. Maybe you've seen something like that. And the whole thing is, there's not really much outdoor transmission going on really at all. It's not a thing that public health officials even warn people about. It's just a thing that people started getting afraid about. And of course, the greater risk in this situation was not that two people outdoors, it was pretty windy when I saw this, passing by for, I don't know, a second. I mean, what are the odds of contracting coronavirus through that exchange? And I'm sure neither of them actually had the virus. And yet she jumps almost into oncoming traffic. What was going on there? The other situation, so I was going to a store. It was a pet store. I had to pick up supplies for one of my children's pets. And I go to this store, and in Ontario, it's always been unclear at certain times whether pet stores are essential or not, whether you can go into them like grocery stores. So I wasn't 100% sure when I actually did this. And I pull up at the store, and then I get outside and I go to the door. And then it says, do not open the door, do not come in. You need to have either booked online in advance or call. And if we happen to be available, you can fulfill this over the phone. So I go, okay. So I'm standing there and I call and I say, hi, can I get, this food for this animal? And the person's kind of, looking at me in the store. I mean, it's such a theatrics to do something like that. Call people from outside the glass. Anyway, I do that. She says, okay, I'll bring it over. And then I see her, and she's kind of standing in the store, but nowhere near the door, like far away. And she's looking at me. And then she gestures to me. And I'm like, what? Like, she's far in the store. She's like 10 meters away from the door. So I open the door. And I find that what she's done is she's put the pin pad for the credit card right there at the front of the door. And she is at the back of the store pretty much. She's masked up and everything. And she says, oh, are you Anthony? And I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm the guy who you saw talking to you on the phone. Obviously, I'm Anthony. So I put my credit card on the pin pad. I'm like, all right, this is kind of odd. How's she going to get me the things I've ordered? Because they're not waiting there in front of the door. Maybe she will walk towards me. She had it on a cart. And she pushed the cart at me. And then I kind of caught it and I got the animal food and I laughed. And it's like, okay, part of the conversation that's been happening in Ontario with retail outlets closed is we know hardly any cases of coronavirus transmission have been traced back to retail because, as we know, as I hope we should all know by now, public health officials say it's really 15 minutes or more of prolonged indoor close contact that brings about transmission of the virus. So these sort of fleeting exchanges we have where you're just, paying at the cashier terminal for 60 seconds or whatnot, that's not really a thing where they believe the virus can spread. So I see this lady doing this. I go, what are you going to do if next week they open up the pet store and you're going to have customers walking around with you? And I feel like that lady, and I feel like the person who I saw on the sidewalk, I mean, these people are psychologically damaged people. And I really feel for them because are they going to be able to get out of that state of mind as soon as the rules change, as soon as public health officials say, oh, you don't need to jump into the sidewalk, even though they're not already telling you to do that right now? If they get vaccinated, are they going to lose these concerns, or is this going to stick with you? I feel like this is not a sort of thing that you can just suddenly turn off. So I'm just very concerned that the way we've been talking about coronavirus and risk assessment, the things public health officials have and haven't been saying, has been creating a situation where there are people in this country who are not just, taking precautions because they're high-risk individuals, but people who are damaged right now in terms of how they're going to be interacting in society for years to come. And I don't know what to say about it other than it's something that has left me deeply dismayed and concerned about my fellow citizens.